Well, look at all the exciting stuff happening in chapter 20. Holy smokes. I'm not going to go through scene by scene, but going to go through some of these things that have been revealed. I've already done a video on the epigraph, so I'll skip that. I'm getting things are falling in place, or I'm getting all these red herrings either implied or because I'm an idiot and going the wrong way with things. All right. I have a whole bunch of stuff highlighted that will just be for me, but I want to talk about Shadow Throne and to talk about the fact that he found this first throne, which seems to be on the southern continent, which is the center of the Malazan Empire. And I like this thing that maybe says what his goals are. To get all of these thrones and not use them, or to get all of these thrones secretly and then have power over all of them. But it seems like to get all these thrones. And, best way to do that would be to find them kind of while being in shadow. So he has shadow, he has the throne to the Talani Mass, and I think he's shaking in his boots because now the Tist Edur are getting closer. It's interesting that Onrak finds out sort of about what's going on and says, hey, Logros dudes, if somebody else gets this throne, they might just command us to kill ourselves or go jump in a jade statue or whatever, right? So even though Shadow Throne isn't who they wanted to, they need to make sure that the Tist Edur and really nobody gets to that throne. And I think this is interesting because we also found out in this chapter that Silver Fox, it has to be immortal to sit on the throne. So really Silver Fox, again, seems like the one that was supposed to be destined to that, but I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't know if that's going to happen in the end. If anyone, I want Troll to be the guy. Remember, he's a guy who he needed a spear, and he didn't steal a spear from all this, it's scattered because he doesn't steal. So he's awesome. I want him to be the guy to eventually get on the throne. Okay, that was very cool. Well, I don't know why I didn't clue in that the Hounds of Shadow were once, the Tist Edur were once their masters. Didn't even clue into that. But that is cool. And that's mentioned here. There is a very cool part about, they talk about this throne. And they talk about how, they talk about the Nameless Ones again, which I still am not totally sure about who these Nameless Ones are. If they're just mortals or, but they're working for the House of the Azath, the Houses of the Azath. And yeah, we have this point here that these renegades, these renegade Talani Mass, who were made of their own making. I loved that. I love that in the Talani Mass kind of world, if someone even fails, then they've dishonored the clan. I mean, I don't love that. I just think that's interesting. So these people who have failed in doing something now become hunted and must be destroyed because failure is not to be tolerated. And so these renegades have been of their own making. But these renegades serve the same master as your kin, meaning the Tist Edur. Which it sounds like leading back to the crippled god in one way or another, but I might be a little off my rocker. Okay. They want. Yes. So Onrak does this thing to call the Bonecaster that was calling him, this monarch, and says, how many guardians protect the first throne? None. Do any Talani mass remain on the continent of Quantali, where the thing should be? None. All the armies of the Logros are on 7 cities trying to get these renegades because they're obsessed. That's their vow. That's their goal. Almost like a charm put on them where they just have to do this. Remember, failure is not an option. And yeah, but they say also how, they haven't ever won against this Forkroll Assail group. I'm still a little confused about that and waiting for that to pop off again. And that these renegades are of our own making. Okay. Again, going into the Warren of, this part of the Warren of Shadow, this whirlwind. I think it's so cool how the way they've had to enter this whirlwind through either being shrouded somehow, or we have Pearl, who I found is a quarter Tistandi, walking in the shadow of Lestara. Isn't that so awesome? And then they kind of bug each other, and they apparently they're now a thing. So, all right. I'm still waiting for, all I care about is the bridge burners. As well, I want Squints to be back. He's out doing something. I want Onrak and Kalava to be a thing. There's certain things that I really want. Really, really want. Okay. Callum sees this ghost army. He's kind of wandering, trying to stay in shadows. He finds this ghost kind of vision. I read that earlier. Just last night. I've been thinking about that. I still don't know what to make of it exactly, but we have these little ghostly kind of echoings of what happened. And he sees Tano, who was banished by the first emperor for treasonous alliance with the Nameless Ones. This ghostly army is singing. I don't know. I don't think that would be the same song that Tano gave, for the Bridge Burner song, but who knows? Could be that. Oh, I'm just waiting for that to happen. Anyway, still waiting to see what Callum does in here. If he's going to be the one that sanctifies this song, whatever that means. Okay, Callum sees this beginning of a ritual that, as he's watching these Pardu folk that don't seem to be part of the resistance, this rebellion, and the Hounds of Darkness, these 2 Hounds of Darkness show up, and that's the moment where I think now Shadow Throne must see this and go, oh crap, my Hounds of Shadow and my Demons of Shadow are going to get ripped apart. That's what I think. And then they chase him. He blows on this bone whistle thing to have these guys show up. These Demons of Shadow show up. And Shadow Throne's heart must be racing. It even says that in the thing. And then Crocus and Absolar kind of arrive at this base of a ramp that goes up into the circular room, and we find out that we are in Iskarl Pust's temple or whatever. Again, this priest of shadow. Whew. And there's just so much I don't understand. I have highlighted Chapter 21's epigraph that says, "There is no death in light," which makes me again wonder about this ritual that the Talani Mass did. Were they already kind of living forever? There's something about this light. It just echoes. It echoes. If light was immortality, I still feel that the Talani Mass must have stolen that in some way. And I feel like, why the heck is Callum? No, Calor. King Calor still around if he was a human? Did he have access to that light or whatever? I might not even be on the right track of what I'm supposed to be wondering, but those are the things I wonder. So, there are what? 6 more chapters in this puppy. And I feel like I don't want to go scene by scene because I'm going to want to rip through this now. So I'm going to try to be brief and just kind of enjoy the ride for this rest of the way. I do have another video in mind that has to do with Raraku, kind of like my apology to Felicen. I do have another thing in mind for that, but we'll see. We'll see when that sort of thing comes if I do that. But very cool. Still enjoying this, and still looking forward to continuing with the series, which I will do right away. I have a buddy who's starting Gardens of the Moon, and I may get him on occasionally to talk about his journey as he starts that, and hopefully he enjoys it. Maybe he won't. Well, we'll see. I'll see you on the next one.